Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of Nanyang Championship action here as we're in the thick of it in the Chinese qualifier. Coming up today, we have a doubleheader. We begin with a revitalized Invictus Gaming Gods. They looked quite good the other day. 2-0-ing a team that they should 2-0.
Yep.
But the old IG, the TI5 IG, you never knew what you were going to get from day to day. So it seemed like they had a game plan, seemed like they were solid. They're going to be facing CDEC Youth here in our opening best of three, who also looked very impressive.
Yeah, and CDEC Youth, despite the youth name, have some veterans amidst the team. They've got June, who's been around for some while, one of the kind of top Chinese MMR players, Icy as well as Inflame, who have all been kind of playing at a top level for some time already. And that's where I feel like CDEC Youth do come in with some ability to test IG, and this to me is much more a true telling of where IG stand right now. I feel like FTD didn't draft very well against IG, and there was just huge mismatches just from the picks. Well, game 2 was the Broodmother. Game 1, it was when they got the Leshrac as well as the Bounty Hunter, I think, in the first 2 picks. So I'll be interested to see what comes from these drafts here, as I feel CDEC Youth will have a much better go at the draft from June.
Well, speaking of the draft, the CDEC Youth taking a page out of CDEC Original or CDEC Classics playbook from TI. The Undying opening, they really did not get it much after the group stage, but quite a few matches in the group stage where they would grab these 1-2, teams started banning at least one, if not both, or block picking them, and then later on it seemed like teams started to prioritize the Bounty and the Lena a bit more later in that event. Yeah,
and we're going to see Lena Bounty first 2 picks for IG, and this is pretty much shores up your mid lane. That's what this 2 picks is going to do. And CDEC Youth have kind of put a lot of emphasis on the off lane with these opening picks, so they can't really easily protect mid if they want to go for that dual lane. If you've only got one other support kind of freed up, and that hero will then be kind of pressured to protect mid from potential ganks from a Bounty, to also shore up the farm for the safe lane carry. So this is kind of a good reply to an Undying Tusk, is to look to win the other 2 lanes, which is exactly what a Bounty Lena opener can do.
And then just run the hell away from those 2.
Yeah.
Not many lanes that beat them early on, the Bruisers. But they do fall off quite a bit later.
Yeah, there's not really no obvious hero that lanes against this well. Having a hero with a blink is always good because you don't get hit by the snowball. So like a Queen of Pain anti-mage type hero, but anti-mage is not going to farm against an Undying Tusk, so...
Or I guess just sacrificing someone, put like a Spirit Break or a Clockwork there, or even if they die, no big deal. And they're also pretty hard to take down. So we'll see what IG have planned for this. Maybe they just look to rotate a lot. For now, leaving their options open. CDEC Youth are going to ban a hero that could be a nuisance in that 1v2 matchup, the Broodmother, if it is indeed a Undying offlane. So they'll get rid of that. We saw a game-winning Brood pick yesterday, I think, basically the easy way to put it. Where other team just wasn't ready. Bounty Hunter versus Broodmother 1v1 matchup. Game over.
Tier 2
wasn't the only issue, but
minutes.
It was definitely the biggest issue, it felt like, in that particular draft.
Yeah. No. So CDEC Youth do a nice little trick where you ban out the Ember, then immediately get the pick onto the PL. There's no chance for IG to react or deal with this because you go straight into your pick after the ban. So the best counter for the PL in any mid to late game setting is going to be Ember Spirit with a Battle Fury.
Let's go, Sven. Here we go.
Could be
Cleave Lord.
Sven or a Tiny. Tiny was another probably popular answer to the PL in the old days. So IO Tiny, dare it come back. It's super signature hero almost.
I mean, I mentioned Sven, and not even that tongue-in-cheek, because IG ran it yesterday versus a PL as well. So maybe not the best versus an Undying Tusk early on, that's for sure. But we'll see what IG have planned here. But yeah, they see that at this point, the card's very much on the table. They've shown their carry. You know they want to dominate that offlane with the Tusk Undying, so the rest is just kind of filling in the gaps, it seems.
Yeah. Darkseer for now. So you kind of talked about a hero that can just maybe be sacked against the Tusk Undying, and Darkseer does fit that role if they want to take that approach. Or alternatively, it could be setting up for the Sven pick, because Vacuum works very nicely with the Sven stun.
Yeah, that's a dirty combo.
So for now, CDEC Youth get Dazzle. It's a good hero because it can zone out the offlane, and then all you've got to do is hold a TP should Bounty Lena go for a kill on mid lane. So you can TP Grave and potentially save your mid laner there.
Even though they have a PL, this lineup feels like a really scary 5-man lineup in the mid game. Your Tusk Undying, Dazzle just running at people. Throw out a spear, snowball on them, drop the tombstone, get the heal spams going.
Yeah. Why, it's the CDEC Youth team. I imagine they may play a little CDEC style and go for that fast drums on PL and use him to fight and push towers more than just be a late game carry.
Yeah, it could definitely work here. IG do have a pretty decent disengage, I guess, but still waiting for their overall game plan to reveal itself yet. It's still a bit open-ended. Haven't picked that safe lane carry yet. Most likely the Lina mid with this opening, but what are you thinking for IG here, God? Oh, it is the Sven. Okay. Back into a Stormbolt, into that Lina stun, some big combo plays.
This is a good Sven game, and it's a good amount of physical damage to fight the Undying Tombstone. Warcry can help a little bit in the laning stage with the extra armor as well, but still will be a tough lane. That's still an Undying Tusk lane, and Sven will have his work cut out for him as far as surviving and getting farm there. But
I feel like CDEC are pretty happy they went Dazzle. Maybe even anticipating the Sven pick if they watched the replays yesterday, because this was an identical opening, I'm pretty sure. I think they might have third picked Sven yesterday rather than fourth, but I know those first two picks for IG were the same. And hey, you have the ultimate to deal with the Sven's physical damage. That's not too bad. Interesting little... I mean, IG just seemed to like Sven right now.
Yeah.
I think it's Sven versus PL. I guess they just favor the matchup.
It's curious because it was never like seen as an answer like during TI. Like we never saw the Sven as a PL counter. I think we were seeing a bit more Ember Spirit because that was when people didn't realize that like people would stop picking Ember Spirit, and then after TI, everyone's like, let's start picking Ember Spirit again. So it seems just very trend driven. So Ember's become much more of a common ban.
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due. PPD was right. I was casting with him after TI in one match, and he saw PL and he's like, you know, before he even said Ember, he said Sven. You know, this is where you pick Sven, he said. But they didn't pick Sven, they lost. And now IG picking Sven. They're 1-0 versus the PL in their last one game in the matchup. We'll see. We're not going to read too much into it. But now CDEC, round it out. They get the puck. Just kind of a reliable initiator here for the team.
And CDEC, you potentially thinking that it could be a Lina support with the Sven. Sven-Lina, just an old school dual lane, which has great synergy between the two, with the Sven set up for the Light Strike array. If that's the course of action, IG do need a mid for 430, which makes the TAS map ban the only... I mean, there aren't many mids left at this point for IG if they do want to run Lina as a support. The Co-op's been banned out long ago. TA, Ember, Shadow Theme, Storm were both banned by IG themselves, so...
See, I mean, most likely it is just the... No, it's not the Lina mid. Okay, it is going to be the Chuan. The Chuan Lina once again. So they stick to their guns here. Well, they're definitely one of the few teams that really seem to be favoring the Lina support over the Lina carry.
Yeah. DK, a really good hero. I think this is one of the best matchups DK gets in mid is versus Puck, because you don't really get harassed out of the lane. Puck just doesn't hit hard enough. He hasn't got like a Shadow Strike like a Queen of Pain. You can't really get zoned out by a Puck, and you can actually hurt the Puck's last hitting with that Breathe Fire, so... I know, like, this used to be a common pick against... Back when Puck was, like, one of the most popular mids, teams were playing DK a lot just because this matchup was actually... Like, it's a pretty even matchup. Like, they'll farm equally, but for DK, farming equally to your opposing mid is a win in most scenarios.
And we've also seen... I remember casting quite a few of these games with you. When the DK hits level 6, he pops the ultimate. If he gets that initial stun off and there's a support there, often they get a kill. If not a first blood, then very likely to force the Puck back to the base.
So I like the DK pick here. It works really well. Another good hero to bring down Tombstone in the Dragon form. And I think IG, whenever they have that Elder Dragon form up on the DK, are really strong. They can deal with the Tombstone. They have a direct initiation to kill off a Puck if they want to. At level 11, you've got some AoE damage to deal with the PL illusions and to fight him. So all in all, it's a really solid pick for IG.
All right, gods, let's get into it here. We're going to have some early action as Chuan moves directly through the enemy jungle, and they have seen him. Snowball, everybody pile in. Lance comes out, Chuan dodges away. The orb's going to connect, and they drop a secondary sentry. Pretty hefty commitment there. Actually, 3 in total. One looks like they want to use to deward the camp, and they will fail on the deward. So Chuan, he throws his body away, but he will successfully block up this camp with an observer. Though, as I say that, Icy has one more still in his inventory. All right, let's introduce the teams. CDEC Youth, you've got Icy. We'll be playing your Dazzle support. Inflame on the Puck. Aim on the Phantom Lancer. Demons, the Tusk. And June, the Undying. And over on the Dire side, Invictus Gaming, a new revitalized roster. Ferrari 430, still their stable mid on the Dragonite. Luo, going to be taking his talents as the Darkseer to the safe lane. Super will handle the Lina. We'll be joined by Rabbit on the Sven. And it looks like Chuan's going to be that roamy bounty hunter. So not the Chuan Lina that we're accustomed to seeing.
Yeah. Chuan, I guess, more of the roaming play for this team. And I was about to say, Puck's going to have a rough time mid because they used 3 of their 4 sentries to in the bottom lane to kill the bounty, but immediately Puck bought additional sentries. So Puck already has 2 more sentries for the mid lane. They've already invested 600 gold just in sentry wards here.
Do you think this is excessive, or do you think it's worth the investment in general?
It's definitely worth the investment because DK will win mid lane even harder if there's no sentry ward there for the Puck. So I think it's necessary, but it's something that will hurt the economy of CDEC.y. Although it was the Puck's first blood money that kind of contributed to the sentry ward. So in some ways, it's paid for itself so far, but whether that's going to continue to be the case, we'll have to see.
Yeah, now Chuan will move down bottom. All those sentries in the jungle, but none here in the lane right now. They still hold one on Icy. I'll look for a little poke on aim. Backing off, maybe trying to bait out a ward placement, but doesn't seem like that's coming anytime soon. So, Gods, we will see the offlane Undying for June. Matchup 1v1 against the safe lane Darkseer. He's already dropped his tombstone here nice and early. Just wants to farm some neutrals, it looks like. And Undying versus Darkseer, not a very common lane nowadays.
No. A lane that Darkseer should have a pretty sizable edge at as far as getting good farm here. You can even kind of start pulling neutral camps and rotating into the jungle as well as getting the lane farm once you hit level 3 with the Iron Shell. So I don't imagine June getting a whole lot out of this lane. He'll get most of the XP, but it's going to be a much more Darkseer favored matchup. But I think it's the right move to rotate Tusk off this lane because Tusk Undying is unlikely to get kills, and you're splitting the XP between 2 heroes when Undying can get a lot more out of having a fast level 4 tombstone.
That makes a lot of sense here. I do want to mention the bug is still here, guys. For those who are not aware, is Inflame takes a ton of punishment mid lane. He's probably going to have to orb himself back to avoid going down to Chuan. Only level 1. But that pokety poke, look for the breathe fire up the hill. Patience from 430. And with that, Inflame, it won't be your first blood, but it looks like he will get poked down. Is Chuan going to go for it? The long range snap and will get the kill. Meanwhile, bottom. Looks like more action breaking out as they snowball onto Super. That's going to connect. Warcry was popped, but it's after most of the right clicks have come through. Then the 2-hero Stormbolt. It seems it is enough for Super to hightail it out of there. So it ends up being a retaliation kill mid. The Puck will die. That delays the bottle timing as well. You go back to those extra sentries he had to buy, and without them, he would have his bottle by now, Gods.
Yeah, and this is where it starts to hurt, and he had the sentry ward in the mid lane, but going for that room was just a bit of a greedy play in the end, and something completely unnecessary for his lane, so...
And he put it very far back, so he didn't even see the bounty hunter when he was up here on the high ground. Bit unfortunate. But I do want to mention, before I forget, because I know some people are confused, there is a bug in Reborn, guys. We had this yesterday as well. When it's a best of 3, it just gives a team a point. And the admin cannot change the score. So it's 0-0 right now. Just so everyone knows, ignore the top scoreboard. Just pretend it's not there. It's 0-0. This is game 1.
We just need to add some little drawing lines on exploit or something. Bring out the drawing pad.
Where's the... where is that thing? It's like an
I might have to install it, or is it there? Sketchboard?
A whiteboard.
Oh, whiteboard. Now we're talking. We can draw.
Right,
get creative.
Instructions.
Okay, freehand drawings going.
Not sure if the viewers can see that part where it says right click the instructions.
No, they can't see that.
Okay.
I've used it before. It's just like, it's basically your MS Painting. It's like live MS Paint.
All right. If we have a longer pause, I will definitely set it up and just start going to work here.
Fixing the scoreboard on behalf of Valve.
I think I'm just going to make an overlay that covers it up.
Yeah.
Volvo, please. If only that were the biggest issue in Reborn right now, then we'd all be...
Yeah.
Completely satisfied. Let's see Chuan grab his boots here. So early on, the CS advantage does seem to be going pretty substantially towards IG. Oh, actually, not that much. So a couple of CS advantage.
Yeah. The Puck is struggling mid, which is the main place where there's a bit of a mismatch. But as far as the 2 carries go and the offlaners, it's actually fairly even. Mid lane, stun comes out.
He used his orb to farm here. If they get that Janata strike off, ooh, phase shift. But he still got slowed by it, it looks like. Didn't actually dodge the damage. They're going to commit for this. Breathe Fire doesn't quite have the mana. Chuan tanking the tower here. Dragon Tail would finish the job. He gets off the stun, but it costs him his life and ends up being a 1-for-1. The Puck does get the experience there first before going down.
That's ultimately okay for Puck, considering how far behind he is. The big thing
he's missing a wave, though.
Yeah, that hurts.
And the catapult, it looks like.
The big thing there was 430 couldn't... He had a bottle charge, but he couldn't get... He had creeps on him. So if he got a bit more mana out of that bottle charge, he would have had the breathe fire, and that would have been an easy kill. But as they were diving the tower, he's trying to bottle up and didn't get any mana out of it.
This is going to prompt a rotation. We'll see that Tusk move on to mid. Perfect block there. On to 430. Snowballs right through the breathe fire, and now 430 runs to the south. Doesn't have his own boots yet. Has the stick, has the bottle charges, but In Flame just hugging his coattails. And not giving him a whole lot of room to breathe here. Cancels the bottle charge. Orb is going to connect. Tries to juke it. But he ends up on the low ground if he misses. Oh, if he misses, maybe has a chance to get away. Ooh. But there was going to be a shard snowball there soon. Yeah. So in the end, we'll get the Dragon Knight kill. Seems they've gotten fed up with their poor Puck being pestered mid quite so much.
Yeah, good on Tusk coming out just to help things out there. Nice rotations from Demons. And yeah, he's now been involved in 2 of the 3 kills for CDEC.y, which is definitely kind of paid off for his rotations and just leaving the Undying in the off lane. Undying's hit level 6, so he's actually farmed just fine against the Darkseer, and this is a hero who's going to probably look to group up with his team fairly soon. He doesn't want to just stay top lane dealing with a Darkseer for days. It's kind of like reminiscent of like dealing with a Brood. Yes, you're a hero that can maybe lane here okay, but you really want to be getting fights with your team and getting involved rather than just sitting in the off lane being ineffective.
Well, he does have the level 3 tombstone, so no TP right now in June. If he wants to rotate, gotta imagine he'll be picking one up in a few moments, but this is where Chuan will rotate Gods. He's gonna head towards the top side of the map, watching super bottom though. Gets caught by the snowball, clipped by a lance, and death to the heel. Doesn't even have a chance to make it out. We'll see June grab that TP you mentioned, and look at the mid lane where 430 is just posting up on the tower. There is a Dream Coil available. Tombstone even gets chopped. This is a very ambitious move. They barely catch it with the coil. Didn't think they'd have the range for that, but 430 turns around, and they just cannot bully this Dragon Knight whatsoever, even getting the Illusion Rune after forcing that TP as well as the Tombstone.
Yeah, he wrecked that gank so hard. That was
it's one of those things where there's no change on the scoreboard, but it's a huge win for the Dire.
Yep. Coil and Tomb going cooldown. 430 gets some damage off in the tier 1. Just really good applied pressure coming out, and this is where IG will kind of start to out-farm CDEC in a lot of ways, because that's just wasted time, wasted rotations, and June is not going to want to stay in a lane farming. So CDEC could maybe keep up and farm, but it wouldn't be a good use of their lineup. And from a strategic point of view, it's just going to loosen the game if they're not finding good fights and pressuring towers.
So we do see a switcheroo here now, Gods, as Luo is going to move to the off lane. So they give the Lina Sven the safer time top lane, also the slightly better farm. They are looking to pressure here a bit, as Tron will take an Ion Shell. They're farming the enemy jungle. And Luo just, the heat's on, and they're letting him get a lot out of this woods. And now they try to jump in. Snowball's going to come through, and it looks like Luo may have bitten off more than he can chew. Indeed, he does. That Snowball into Heal Bomb, a very easy kill, but the trade will be the Puck dying in the river.
That's just an Iron Shell bounty with a
just
lot of damage.
Ran him down, I guess.
Yeah, just did a bit of damage standing next to him, and then finished him with a right-click insta-shuriken before Puck can even react with a phase shift.
So he didn't have an orb ready, or did he use it to get to the bottom rune?
No, he was just walking. Like he's like 2/3 HP, and Bounty just does. Bounty just kills him really easily. It's like
he had like a half second to react.
Yeah,
then.
exactly. Unless you have like just godlike reflexes there, you're not going to be able to phase shift dodge the shuriken.
Normally Puck known for being a slippery little bugger, but In Flame is feeling mighty easy to take down this game. They will at least get the tower denied, but 430. Again with the big rune grabs. This time he picks up the haste. He's already got his Belt of Giant Strength as well as the Bracer, over 1,000 health. Yeah. Basically, he's already become a mini raid boss. We'll start poking at the tier 1 top with the ultimate. Yeah. Just keeping the pressure going, and multiple lanes now. Completes his power treads. And they have that level 1 Warcry Gods.
And this one
CDEC hold the push.
This one ultimate was used to finish off the tier 1 mid tower, even though it gets denied, and he's already top lane to finish off this tier 1 top, or at least make a go for it. So very effective use of the Dragon form so far from 430.
It's really been the return of the Dragon Knight here in SEA, or not SEA, in China. I feel like that's the story of the past 2 days, is these teams really value their Dragon Knight, and it's not a hero we see much of at all in Europe, or even too much in SEA for that matter.
DK versus Puck mid. I don't think you'll be seeing that anytime soon in the European scene.
I guess that's what happens when both teams leave their mid for the last pick, right? Yeah. There's no, you don't get your Leshes or Shadow Fiends or even Templar Assassins at that point, let alone, you know, the likes of a Storm Spirit. They could have gone Lina mid, but they just value having that tanky siege engine.
So PL continuing to farm pretty well. Top CS here in the bottom lane, although just going for a very cheap, basic, cost-effective item. Picks up a bottle and everything, which is really an item you need when you're laning against the Darkseer. So another.
They see Luo going for the long-range grab. Ooh, almost got him. And now the Tusk going in deep. TP will get canceled. Looks like they want to try to set up on the top lane. Seeing June here. They have the hasted 430. Need to get the tombstone off. He didn't. And now maybe chain stun down. Indeed. No, the Grave. The Grave could turn this. Tombstone deployed. Now the Shard's coming out, trapping everybody, and gets up the massive Soul Rip. Then the Heal Bomb coming through. Say hello to the Puck as well. 2-hero coil. It's a 4-hero smackdown top lane. Invictus Gaming. They did not respect the zombie man, and he will make them pay.
That was just smart positioning from Icy. Getting that Grave off, just huge. That was... IG thought they had that. It's like, okay, we'll just chain stun him down, kill off the Undying, and everything will be gravy. He didn't even get... Even if he gets the tomb off before the first stun, he gets chain stun down, but the fact he gets off multiple decays, a Soul Rip,
and he has a stick as well, I believe.
Dazzle's Shadow Wave on the Undying zombies. Oh my gosh, did that hurt IG. That first Shadow Wave got a double kill, it looked like, and Dazzle ended up with a triple kill off of that. That was just some brutal combo play coming out from the Undying.
And now to make matters worse, he has a medallion. So even more minus armor here to try and boost up the physical damage that Wave brings to the table. They were just ready for that. They were very quick to TP. Excellent defensive positioning there by Icy. And this is kind of what we were talking about when, you know, I was joking to Winter yesterday. CDEC Youth, they're not a youth team. I mean, these are some established players in China. Sure, maybe not as famous as the likes of a 430 or a Luo, but they are showing that they definitely have the teamwork and individual ability to keep this game close. And in fact, right now, after that fight, they're leading. About a 2,000 gold lead, 2,500 experience. Feeling quite comfortable with their position.
Yeah, and they're going to need timing soon. They're going to have a mech up on Undying. Makes them a lot stronger. And the Puck Blink about 700 gold away, so... For Team CDEC, they're going to be the ones taking towers, winning majority of fights at that point. Sven's going to take some time to really come online. He needs a Mask of Madness as well as a BKB, it feels like, and also just needs points. He actually is going back for Cleave. Only 2 points in the Stormhammer. He's going a much more kind of farm and carry-oriented build, which is what we're seeing more from Sven's these days.
Yeah, he also has that track gold to help him out here, as well as the move speed from track, so... This will be close to a max move speed Sven once he completes that Mask of Madness. At least as long as it's active. Not to mention, you've got Surge and Ion Shell, so you are basically always hasted, as they will pop a Dust here, trying to wrangle in Chuan. But unable to connect there on the Shard, so we'll retreat out. We'll see our Puck of Inflame, despite the rough start. Looks like the little fairy dragon wants to complete his Blink Dagger here. Only 300 gold to go. While they're finagling around on the bottom side of the map, IG going straight for objectives here. One TP gets canceled. It looks like the rest of the heroes going to walk in. Tower is glyphed. Rabbit with the ultimate. Looking to commit for this one, but Coil's at the ready. This could be very bad for Mr. Rabbit. Gets the last hit. Now the tombstone dropped, and Lena just says, see ya. Good luck, buddy. I wish you all the best. That heal again doing work. The Super will successfully retreat. So they trade a Sven. They get the tower. They force out all the big ults.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Otherwise, get out unscathed.
And I think for CDEC Youth, that was a tower that was already pretty low going down. So to get a Sven kill out of it is ultimately pretty good for them, since it's a tower that doesn't mean much to them. It was low HP regardless. You're versing a team with a DK Sven, which is just going to be pretty good at taking towers. Like, especially when CDEC want to kind of 5-man group up and push lanes, they're going to get split pushed and just counter pushed in the other lane. And that's where making a Sven kill, slowing down his farm, his item progression is ultimately kind of a good position for them to be in. Not to mention that kill was involved the Puck as well as Undying. So that helps both these two get closer to their core items. Just 100 gold from Blink on Puck now. Undying 100 gold from the mech. So they're pretty much ready to go.
Strong timing here for CDEC. And let me ask you, God, since they're about to hit a timing on some of those cores, what are you thinking for the Phantom Lancer here? Almost has the 2,000. Do you rush the Boots of Travel? Do you try to get your early drums out and look to just 5-man a bit more? What's the PL build for you this game?
I think he gets Boots of Travel. He's the drums. He's just about, I think, what, it's like 1875 for drums, 1850. Sorry, but so I guess he could get either. But I think the Boots of Travel is in some ways just as good a fighting item as the drums, because he's already got basic core items in the Ring of Aquila, the Poor Man's Shield, the Magic Stick, and it allows him to keep up with farm and then TP into a fight and clean up. He's going to want to TP and be the last hero to arrive to a fight after the coil and tombstone have been dropped. And if it's a good fight, he's going to show up and look to clean up. If it's a bad fight, his team can say, look, we screwed up our initiation, just keep farming. So if you go drums, you're committed to fight with your team, and sometimes that can backfire because you don't really know how a fight's going to go. If IG get a better initiation with the vacuum Stormhammer, suddenly it's IG winning the fight, and PL's like, man, I could be farming now, but I've committed to this drums.
All right, well, it does seem like he's saving, so most likely Ed does have those boots of travel in mind. As the 2k gold now pops his double damager, and his IG start to descend on this bottom lane. They've got the bounty hunter in position. Track comes out. Level 1 doppelganger, and will beat BOTs, so good call there. Looks like they want to try and jump him here, but with the tower still alive and Peel at full HP, this is not an easy kill.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a precarious position here. Has the doppelganger if he wants to get rid of Track, but if he does that, it could just be Q for IG to dive him, because that's a long cooldown on level 1 doppelganger. So he's really waiting for his travels to arrive on the courier, and then he can potentially just look to doppelganger TP out if they decide to just sack the bot tower, which I don't think is the call. It looks like Tusk is headed bottom as well. Puck can always TP in with the blink coil in 15 seconds. So I imagine CDEC will look to take the top tier 1 and defend bottom should IG push. They've even got a lane ward here, so they've got really good vision to contest this.
Well, this is the nice thing about the Mask of Madness build as well. You can go right and clean up these Ancients. Up to another 1,500 gold. Mr. Rabbit is almost even with the PL here. Even though that Phantom Lancer's had a little more freedom to farm and hasn't spent quite as much time fighting. Also hasn't died like the Sven did. So keeping the farm relatively close here. We'll see 430 now grabbing his next rune. This time it's only a bounty. The Invis, the more prized possession, will be on Inflame.
And this
does have the blink. They're going to smoke gods. Dire team has no idea this is coming, at least vision-wise.
Good timing for the smoke with the blink and mech up. So I like this play, even though they didn't really smoke everyone. The Undying's not smoked up with them, but just looking to bypass some dire wards, and maybe IG just see 3 heroes and like, oh, we can look to go in, but most likely this smoke will just get them tier 1 bottom tower. I don't think IG really have what it takes to defend this.
Both teams do have their mech now as well. The Undying just picked his up, and already Darkseer has had his for a little while.
Yeah.
So the team fight ramps up rather quickly.
It feels like even with a mech on the dire side, it doesn't kind of even things up in a team fight department though. And I feel like IG is still very much going to be looking to avoid fights until they've got Sven's BKB. Roshan's going
as
on.
As the Ogre Club has the recipe gold, so he's not actually that far from a BKB.
Yeah, and because of that especially, they're going to just avoid fights. They are actually just pinging, they're drawing circles around Roche. They may look to make a play with Darks here, like a vacuum onto the high ground, but
it's a level 3 vacuum here. This is gonna be tough. They throw the nukes into the pit initially, getting a bit of vision. Already the Aegis grab, and they give it to the Puck, who jumps forward with this, wants to go in deep onto Super. Vacuum, narrowly missing. Now will orb out. Tron is spending this time to get a little bit of intel towards the mid lane. And CDEC disengaged successfully. They don't give up any big objectives here. Just a little farm time to the Rabbit. Not so little anymore as he closes in on that BKB.
Yeah. The other nice thing about the Boots of Travel is, especially when you're ahead in a game, the other team's response to normally being behind, if you're pushing towers, is to just counter push other lanes. And that's where, like, a Sven was just solo pushing the top lane, and a PL can easily come back, constantly defend, and it's a short cooldown, 45 seconds on the Boots of Travel, so he can easily rejoin his team for another push fairly soon. So when you're ahead, especially, the Boots of Travel pay off. You kind of investment that saves money on TPs and deals with that split push.
Get out of my lane.
Okay.
And Aim does push it out successfully, but interestingly, 430, he's going for the Blink Dagger. I believe I saw Rabbit do this quite a few times at, or maybe it might have been Moo for Newbie who was picking the Blink up on Dragon Knight.
During TI5, this became, like, the DK build, I think. I mean, DK wasn't a popular pick, but
the teams who ran it. Yeah, it was 1 or 2 Chinese teams that were running it.
Yeah, and it was mostly Blink Dagger.
I want to say it was Moo who was doing it primarily, or maybe they had Rabbit go mid 1 or 2 games. I'm not sure, but yeah, either way, they get their initiation now. But well, let's see if it's gonna end up being effective for them. Tough to jump into this lineup, as you've been pointing out.
Oh dang, the Shuriken doesn't bounce onto tracked heroes. When Inflame phase shift dodges the Shuriken, it didn't
nobody
bounce to
gets
June.
the bounce, huh?
Well, he bounced it off like a creep, and it bounced then to the Puck, who phase shift dodged it, which meant it didn't bounce to the 3rd hero who was tracked, the Undying. That's actually...
Now, if you start on the Puck, does it bounce or no?
Not sure. I think if Puck dodges it, it just won't bounce at all.
And Flame going in, finds the 2-hero coil. Do they have the detection for Chuan? Orb forward, Zombie poking away at him. They even got the Dazzle ultimate off, so he's starting to lose some armor here. Chuan will get trapped out, Dust coming through. They'll snowball in, really committing for the Bounty Hunter. And with an uppercut, they'll finish that little yellow goblin man off, but it's okay for IG. They're still pushing the top lane, at least trying to stall for now. Wait for the Sven BKB you mentioned, and he's got it now. Has the gold for that Mithril Hammer if he wants to buy it. So we may see IG fish for a fight relatively soon.
Yeah, it's still just split push game for them. Lua was pressuring out the bottom lane. He LTPs down bottom, which did leave the top lane open for possibly Sven to go for it, but he finished BKB, which basically says, I want to fight now. Level 11, so has 2 points in God Strength and has smoked up with his team, but maybe too late. CDEC with the tier 2 tower, they're all ready to back off, so the timing just isn't quite right for IG with this smoke.
Puck orbing back, 430 is there. Could look for the stun, but remember, this Puck is the Aegis bearer. Not an easy hero to bring down. Darkseer will Ion Shell himself. And all the while, AIM has been farming. He's now picked up a Diffusal Blade. Of course, not going to be very effective against the Sven right now, but everybody else, this can prove quite a nuisance. You remember you used to be able to purge the Sven ultimate with just like a regular purge as well.
Yeah, not anymore.
Like this is way back. I'm talking like 2 years ago. Sven used to be so terrible because it's countered by Diffusal Blade. He was countered by the Doom Purge creep. If you ever got
like
that,
Yules, anything like that was
and like
ridiculous.
even through BKB, you could Shadow Demon purge it off as well.
Smoke can't grab it.
Looking to go on him, and the Blake comes in. A bit of perfect world lag, but enough for us to see the uppercut here. Rabbit still trying to run away, won't make it out. In Flame, hunting for more.
And that's a 10-second BKB down. That's the other scary thing. He BKB'd as well with the Walrus Punch going through it and allowing them to secure the kill. You've got physical damage amplified by the Medallion, and that's just where Sven is going to be dead for 70 seconds. They're going to easily be able to get this tier 2 bottom tower, and that just puts CDEC in a fantastic position. So,
all right, I think I'm going to chance a reconnect of my own here. We've been getting some chop. Perfect world. Trouble in paradise. Well, I hit reconnect, and now it's just showing me a disconnect button. That's pretty cool.
Do you dare risk clicking disconnect?
No,
again?
It's so laggy.
Oh, yeah, it takes a while to actually reconnect.
It's only now reconnecting. Dota 2, please. Well, even Reborn can't fix the perfect world servers. I guess there's... If Reborn can't fix it, then nothing can, right? You know, that's one battle we're just not going to win.
All right, well, looks like Sven has reconnected, although IG not quite ready to go yet. Rabbit 0-3-0. He's had not a bad game by any means, but his involvement has just been completely negated by CDEC's playstyle, and just their use of smokes and hitting their timings has been far better than IG's. Like, IG had their early game laning stage advantage out of the Bounty Hunter, but it doesn't feel like the Darkseer has really been able to get much done. That, to me, has been the one hero who had the free lane and the safe lane, had a laning advantage against the Undying, but hasn't been able to get involved in a similar way to the Undying, who's been instrumental to CDEC's mid-game.
Yeah, and again, the youth is a misnomer, and if CDEC keep this up, Ruru might be the happiest person in all of Chinese Dota, with potentially 2 CDECs and an LGD, looking like they could be solid contenders
just
here.
Just need an LGD in, and then you're like top 4 at TI.
Well, wasn't there rumored to be a new international team in China?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, a flattened serializer bug.
All right.
Fortunately, we do have your camera.
Oh, man, I gotta do camera work. This is disaster.
We're going to hop over to. We have the production value.
All right.
But my Dota 2 does not, so.
I gotta set up my camera settings so it's less jerky.
For now, just don't miss any kills. If you're afraid, zoom out. Zoom out.
For all new casters out there, zoom out as far as possible, and chances are you won't miss kills.
You might piss people off, but you can just say, hey, I didn't miss anything, guys. Technically speaking, it was there. Just a tiny little pinprick on the minimap.
Well, IG are looking to mount a defense here. They've got track vision from the side, and Luo's looking to surge on in. Leads with a DK stun here. No, actually didn't get the stun. He got insta-silenced.
Still looking to walk in. The zombie gets aggressive here. Drops the tombstone. It's right in front of the entire enemy team. That's not ideal. Now the wall getting deployed, and as they look to retreat out, the puck's going to get blown up. Still holds the Aegis, though, and all right, I am officially back in the game, God, so you can relax on the camera control. Now, Rabbit getting surged about. Where is he going to look to go here? AIM getting caught by an initial stun. They burst him down. Death by the cleaver. Sven finishing the job there with that gigantic Buster Sword. And now hunting for more. That's track kill number 1. Could be the start of something beautiful for Invictus Gaming. The shards really helping out June, though. They push him away where the Sven can't actually hit him, but works his way around the tree line. Will finally connect with that next Stormbolt and successfully gets the second kill. So 2 track kills. Actually, 3 kills. Oh, the one is the Aegis. So two track kills and an end result of a 3,000 gold swing.
Yeah, that's where the Blink Dagger and the DK really pays off, because PL's got he never got a chance to use Doppelganger. It's entirely because of the power of the DK stun being one of the best stuns in the game. Just being that insta-disable, you can get it on heroes before they're able to Doppelganger, BKB, whatever it may be, and that led to the kill on the PL, the Undying. All the kills that fight were just set up by 430 being able to just blink around and use stun after stun, so... But CDEC Youth in a bit of a tough spot. This Sven's starting to become a real problem for them, as items now being picked up. I imagine he may even go for a Blink Dagger himself so he can insta-follow up the DK initiation. Blink Dagger is one of those items, like the more you get in some ways, it gets better and better with every extra Blink Dagger just because they work so well in tandem.
Yeah, just that burst potential, especially against someone like a Dazzle. You've got the Tusk Snowball, the heal of the Undying. These are heroes that can turn a fight, but if somebody is deleted, then you can't save them from beyond the grave.
With a DK stun and a Sven Blink God Strength, you might be able to just kill heroes before a potential grave can even come out.
We'll plop a Sentry Ward down here on the hill. A Super tries to control the Dire Ancients. IG just seems they'll be patient and try to find these track fights. Otherwise, content to farm. You will see 430. What the hell is going
What's happened? Oh, you've got some fun stuff.
Look at my Dragon Knight.
Nice. He's a handsome fella.
There's a fight in the river while this is happening, but I don't even care. Sean's going to drop, but more importantly, back to your...
Not often you get to see the man beneath the helmet. Who knew what DK actually
looks like? Like a mini sorcerer, dude.
Yeah. He's got a very small head, I guess. I mean, the helmet, it's...
looks like a lost villager carrying a lantern. The creeps are coming. He's so small, too.
Does not look like a knight.
What is this?
Like, this is the guy...
Look, he's punching him. He's just punching him and blood's coming out. Man, he's got fists of steel.
This guy turns into a dragon. I wouldn't believe that if I saw him. Like, if someone told me this is the character... Even if, like, I believe everything in the fantasy world. If you told me this is what he looked like.
This is... I never want Reborn to finish being Reborn. Yeah. We're just going to stay in RPG mode.
I mean, there was some fun stuff in Source 1. The bold CN, that was one of my favorites as well.
He just runs in and punches them in the mouth and blood comes out of them. And then they die.
I wonder what the dragon form's going to look like.
Yeah. Oh, look at that Terraform. He's so small. That's the thing I can't get over. Is when he's like this, he's just a tiny little man with a lantern. Lena's bigger than him.
Yeah, the
Dragon Knight has not been working out. All right, back to the fight. Snowball's going to catch him out here. Now the uppercut comes through. The Walrus Punch. Run, little lantern man, run! He will TP out successfully. Barely escaping. I actually spent over 2 minutes zoomed in on him. Just seeing the chat reacting now. Oh, my. Let's see. Will he respawn as a normal fella? That's the question now is, next time he dies, does he come back as a real Dragon Knight, or does he come back as this little...
Or even if, like, maybe he'll use his ultimate and that will fix everything, or potentially add more chaos.
Oh,
you can see you can see the lantern from the DK Immortal. That's great.
Oh, that's the Immortal?
That's the item, the mythical, the genuine crest of the Wormlords. Cool, that's what's giving him the red light.
Cool loot, dude. Apparently he has no items according to this.
Okay, no, that's from his item, the shield that gives you the little red glow. But I don't know.
Well,
perfect world thing.
I feel like he should do 1/10 of the damage he normally does with this kit that he's rocking. Working towards the BKB. IG gonna back things off. Score 13-6 here, guys, at 25 minutes.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just keep on following him. I can't take this seriously.
You've got the giggles. Once it gets started, LD, it's never gonna end.
Someone just called him the guy from Prison Break. Oh my.
I can see that.
Well, I think my favorite Dota bug ever was the one when was it like I think it was the defense side. I remember Toby and Sind were casting.
The flying couriers?
Like the couriers got stuck on a creep or something and it just wouldn't move and it kept on like just squirming around, but it didn't go anywhere. I couldn't stop.
That was one of the best thugs of all time.
That might have been.
Well, that and the map just starting to blow up and random fire happening in all kinds of crazy places.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
always fun. That's actually
The explosions of the map are kind of badass, though. Sometimes those are really cool. This is definitely on the clowny end of the spectrum. All right, CDEC. This game still counts. They're going into the Roche pit. This is a real Dota game, guys. They will lose MMR, as well as potentially the chance to advance if they drop this series. Start poking the Roshan, and with the medallion here, this should be a fairly easy takedown. Looks like the Courier has picked up a bit booster for your Phantom Lancer. And yeah, Walrus Punch. That's mine, but actually Demons does not get the last hit. Will it go the way of the Monkey Man?
Yeah, Monkey Man just looking to tank up with the heart pickup. Knows that he needs to just be able to survive the burst and give Dazzle time to grave him and just heal him back up. So the tankier he gets, the less likely IG are going to be able to just go on him and try and bring him down at the start of the fight. So I like the approach, and even after the heart, I imagine he may go for something like a Skadi, since it's a good item to fight other carries head-on like a Sven, and the slow does apply through BKB.
Yeah, it could really be an effective way to deal with him. It's any sort of melee carry. That Sigil's always a pain, and only level 1 for now.
Yeah, this Sven's actually going to struggle late game against the Sigil, I feel. That's a lot of attack slow, and as the BKB gets down to 5 seconds, I feel like IG's late game could potentially suffer a bit. The good news is Sven is caught up. I feel like the next few fights IG have to win very handily because they don't want this game to drag to 50+ minutes in.
Reaver picked up on aim now. Already has the Vit booster on the Courier, so he's basically got a completed Heart Gods.
Yeah.
He's hitting that. I mean, you compare this to someone like the Sven right now. BKB Crystallis Mask of Madness feels very frail compared to that Phantom Lancer.
Does have Daedalus coming out on the Courier in just a second, though, so they're comparable farm, but one of them's a glass cannon, basically, and the other's nice and tanky and has a bunch of illusions, which are also really tanky and hard. Not necessarily hard to deal with. For Sven, he'll just one sweep of his sword and they're down, but for the rest of the team, this is a very tanky PL. But this fight here is going to be interesting, because Ferrari's also picked up a BKB, so this just allows him to initiate without fear of really going down to some of the counter initiation on the CDEC side.
They are going to take this tower top lane. That's the last outer tower for Invictus Gaming, but at that moment, your Sven completes his Daedalus. So Rabbit packs a punch. And they have that combo. The Vac into the Stormbolt, into the Lina stun.
These
Could
guys
be devastating, gods.
They're like the ultimate high ground defenders. I've seen this, well, I've seen this one before, except it was when they were pushing. The EG Fear, Darkseer Sven combo, when they just vacuumed into like 4, right under the T3
I remember
mid tower.
it was right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was...
That's a legendary Dota 2 moment. Although that tournament, not so legendary.
It was not the best showing for Dota 2 as far as the meta game went.
That was back when EG was a very heavy team for Fear to carry, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Was that the Milk Demon lineup?
I don't know if Milk was... They had Beaters and Demon. They had Beaters, Demon, Sexy Bambo, I think, was on the team.
Oh, yeah. That was when did EG Throw Last.com came into prominence.
Yeah. But that was when Eternal Envy was on support and just stacking for Loda 24/7. That was where that Loda in his little chariot with Envy pulling him around. Saying, that's where that meme began, was the old alliance.
Oh, so many dank moments.
Yeah.
Before the word dank was a thing.
Yeah. That's where it all began.
Well, looks like they found the little lantern man. Where are you going, buddy? In a lot of trouble. Takes the Walrus Punch. Still has a BKB here. Overcomes the top. Comes the Orb. They silence him up as well. Dropping even lower. Mech still not popping that BKB. Just going to accept his fate.
His team were nearby.
Going down.
I thought he could have BKB'd a lot earlier, but I think he thought his team were really far away and he just needed to accept his fate. But
I hope the game isn't as lanky for the players as it is for us here, as they'll uppercut the next tier on the list. Finding Rabbit, Glimmer Cape, trying to bring him back, but already down to about half HP. There's the back. Stormbolt over the top. Looking to chop, but he turns to hit the Tombstone. Doesn't get the gigantic cleave off. This allows the PL to just run roughshod over the back lines. Looking to finish off Super. Lance Luo instead, cleaning him up, and now turning on the Sven. Rabbit, can he get the job done? Not even close. CDEC, a 3-for-1 trade. Ooh. And pushing for more.
And Sven trying to TP out there at the end. Puck still had the Yule's pick up to actually counter and deal with it, so I think Sven really wanted to just ignore the tomb and go for the big cleave. He could have gotten 2 or 3 right clicks off on 3 vacuumed heroes there. And instead, going for the tomb, I think, lost him some valuable damage output. He could easily have gone for the couple of cleave hits and then gone back to the tomb if it was going to be an issue, but very much put CDEC Youth in a position to maybe take a lane of Rax here. Sven still dead for 40 seconds and no buyback.
We got it. We got it, guys. I'm coming. Now he turns into a real unit. Now he's a dragon. Big bad and, well, BKBing, but not actually getting a whole lot done here. I think he forgot how to be a dragon. He spent so much time running around with that God's Star and Lantern. Now backing off, blinks himself away towards safety, but the BKB's worn off, and the PL problem has not been resolved. Pokes down the tower, looks for the melee racks, lancing 430. Tracked PL just doesn't even care that they've got that vision that he could give up all that gold. He feels immortal at this point with the Aegis, the evasion of a talisman now online. The Dragon Knight ultimate going to wear off soon, gods. They will have their crucial Sven respawning momentarily.
Will they pay for it, though?
Dragon Knight blinks in, initiates on Inflame, but there's the Grave. That comes through as well. Rabbit a bit late with the Stormbolt. Doesn't end up getting anything. At least it didn't look like it, as Luo gets trapped out in the middle of the entire enemy team. Rabbit, I don't even know what's going on here. It just looks like he's standing around not doing anything, but PL is doing things. PL is smacking heroes, poking them, prodding them, and killing them off. Rabbit's going to be next.
I saw Sven standing still.
The Lantern Knight has emerged. Sorry, guys. I tried. I did what I could. Look at this guy. Anybody need a lantern? I feel like they wouldn't have drafted him if they had known he would be so pathetic.
Part of half of DK's prowess is just in his how scary he looks.
The intimidation factor definitely gone as they'll find Luo here. Gets off the big back wall, but doesn't have the follow-up necessary to get any kills. The Guardian grieves their way through that, cleansing it and spamming heals. Everybody back to full HP, and GG. IG are defeated.
CDEC Youth, a newly formed team post-TI, and well, they're looking pretty strong right now. A good note to end on.
What a game. I don't know. I just had this image of like the peon from Warcraft 2 the whole time that game was going on. Like I couldn't take that.
Work.
All right, God. So CDEC Youth looking pretty good here. I think that's the moral of the story.
I feel like they maybe had a slight edge with the draft, but like by no means was it just the Tusk Undying, because Bounty Lina I think is a good opener, so it came later on. I think running the Lina mid was probably what IG wanted to do. He's without a doubt, it's a good hero to get. If you have a tanky Lina with Bloodstone Ags, Yule Scepter, you've got burst potential to actually kill off any of the frontliners, and I think that's what you needed, more so than the support Lina.
You go back to that one big, I think, four-man kill top lane. That's where it felt like they really started to kind of seize their destiny this game.
Yeah. Yep.
So with that, guys, CDEC Youth are leading Invictus Gaming 1-0. This is a winner's bracket match, so nobody will be eliminated off of it. It's a best of 3. This was game 1, contrary to the scoreboard, which was also broken. Thank you, Reborn, for making things interesting. But CDEC Youth now leading the set 1-0. We'll be right back for game number 2. Work.